Ferrari update today.
Yes.
F12 engine is here.
It is, but there's also somebody else that's here.
Okay, so that's the goal of the Ferrari.
Yep.
So to do that, we need an engine.
Yes, we do.
And you've got something special in the back of your truck.
Yes.
And in this video, we're gonna put a lot of the car together. What are we doing?
We're assembling basically everything that we have. The engine, the turbos, the transmission, the bell housing, the clutch, all that stuff is gonna go into the car, and then, well, the wiring guy's gonna come down and finish up the wiring. So big things are happening.
And when that's all done, when the car's done, we can do like that?
Yes, but there is one problem, but I'll tell you about that later when we get the engine out.
All right, gentlemen, we have something very special back there.
Yeah, yes, it's special, but once again, we ran into problems. It's just gonna delay it a little bit, but we're still moving forward. So we still got the wiring guy coming, like I said. The engine is back here, so it's similar to when it left.
Oh, there's no drivetrain, or what do you call that thing? Valve train. Drivetrain. Valve train.
There's also no crankshaft, no rods, no pistons, and no cylinders, and that's what the problem is. So the Ferrari cylinders, they're steel cylinders that slip in, and they have like O-rings that basically drop in place with them. Well, the cylinders are coated. They're coated steel. So they started machining them to put the new pistons in, and the coating was super hard. They couldn't cut it. They bought a diamond cutter. They were able to cut it, but it, well, basically took the coating off. So now we gotta send the cylinders out to get coated after it gets machined. Looks like it's gonna take about 3 weeks extra. So it's not the end of the world, but I was hoping to have the engine back like completed and drop it in and be like, all right, now it's in. They're just gonna have to do this whole process one more time. So basically we'll have to take everything back apart. But for now, we're gonna put it back in. We have obviously the intake manifold, which I can't wait to get on this motor because I don't even know if it fits yet. It was made in Sweden off of a scan. So I hope, because that is a beautiful piece of engineering. So hopefully that fits, but we'll get everything back on so our wiring guy can go through and make everything perfect on the wiring harness, and then we can do the plumbing and a bunch of other stuff. That's what we're doing today. It has to happen. So all day we're just gonna be cranking this thing, get it ready for the wiring guy that's gonna be here tomorrow morning, so.
And if you watch the whole video, you're gonna see this car come together really quickly. You're gonna see the turbos on the car, exhaust manifolds, intercooler.
Yep, the intake manifold, which has not been on
you've never
yet.
seen.
Yep.
So don't go anywhere, and we're gonna really give you guys the goods in this video and really accelerate this build. And I'm pumped for it, especially after seeing that Corvette, what it can do.
I know, seeing that thing rip. Imagine what this thing is gonna sound like. Twin turbo V12 with that exhaust we made. I hope this thing screams and sounds like a Ferrari V12.
And I hope it doesn't break every time you try to do anything. That's the whole point.
That's the whole point.
We can't, the 599s aren't built for this. We've learned that over and over and over and over and over again.
That's why we went so far with this build, because really the only way to make sure it's reliable and does what we want it to do is to go absolutely insane with a build like this.
All right, let's drop her in.
All right.
And like that, it is now mounted in the car. You can see each engine mount's bolted up. And right now, Tim's under the car doing what Tim does best, which is God knows what. How's it going, Tim?
Good.
What are you working on?
I'm just putting the transmission mount on.
The big kahuna.
Oof. Couple of big turbos on here.
You guys seeing the vision yet? There's a lot more jewelry able to go on this engine. Tim, how much horsepower are we gonna make, do you think? Don't look at Mike for approval. How much horsepower are we making?
At least 1,200.
At least 500, less than factory. Could you imagine?
At least 400.
We're gonna keep it safe and run 450 on it. Wasn't factory 651? Yeah. Okay, give us a second. We'll do the other side, we'll come back.
You know, Tim, it's just not fair.
Wait, what?
Your hair, Tim. Look at this. This is all I got. You have beautiful, long, flowing hair. Just think about how cool I'd look with that hair, Tim. If I could just have your hair, Tim, put it on my head. Man, it'd be so good.
Well, Mike, if you want hair like mine, you're gonna need the scalp buffer. Thanks to Manscaped for sponsoring this video. First things first, check out these thick silicone bristles. They're 100% antibacterial, no more germs hitchhiking a ride on your head. The bristles gently exfoliate your scalp and help reduce dry skin and buildup from hair products. One of the coolest features is that it's designed to stimulate blood flow to your hair follicles. Increased blood flow equals healthier hair. You can also pair it with a 2-in-1 shampoo and conditioner from Manscaped. These products are designed to work together, giving your hair the nourishment and strength it needs. Check out this lather. These bristles enhance shampoo penetration for more foam and less product use. It's not just about feeling good. A better lather means better cleaning power. That means your shampoo lasts way longer, so you can save that extra money for more important things like gas or tires. And let's not forget the relaxing scalp massage it provides. After a long day, using this feels like a mini spa treatment. Oh, and did I mention the hanging notch for easy storage? Just pop it on a hook and it's always ready for your next shower. Basically, the scalp buffer is like your ace card. Its antibacterial silicone bristles keep your scalp healthy, maximizes shampoo performance, gives you a soothing massage, and stores away like a champ. Take your scalp game from 0 to hero with the scalp buffer. Go to manscaped.com today and get 20% off plus free international shipping when you use promo code DDE at checkout. That's 20% off plus free shipping at manscaped.com when you use promo code DDE.
Bam! There she is. We are now looking more like the twin turbo F12 we've come to love. So what's next?
We'll stick the X pipe on it. We'll put the intercooler, the oil cooler that I made. So even though he doesn't need those parts on here to do the wiring, I want to get more fabrication stuff done. So intake manifold, throttle bodies, start making those too once the intercooler's on there. Plumbing, like oil cooler lines, water lines, fuel lines, like all kinds of stuff that we can actually like move forward with and build all that stuff out. When the engine does come back out again, to go back to the shop to finish, we'll have all that stuff done and we can just send that stuff to powder coat, and then it'll come back when the engine's done and everything go together. And I hope that in a couple months, maybe even sooner, we can fire this thing up.
Oh, Tim, you sandbagging son of a what do you got there?
I got the X.
So where's this going?
Yeah, from what I remember.
It's been a minute.
Let's pull these turbos off.
I think it's beautiful as well.
Yeah.
I never really noticed that before.
A lot of hours in that thing too.
Hope you guys at home that don't fabricate can appreciate how complex that is. If you do fabricate, you really appreciate it. Every angle has to clear every part of the engine, the frame rails, Tim's fingers.
I'm trying to...
Tim, stop screwing up.
I'm working on it.
The boss is watching.
He just ate that nut.
Won't be the first time. That's Hollywood, baby. Hey, Tim got the gruel in.
There's so much pressure right now.
Aren't you used to this?
Throw it.
Do it sideways, do it cross. Nope.
No.
Oh.
Tim! That never works.
It could have been worse.
Coulda.
Could have went in here.
Inside the engine. Into the abyss.
That would have sucked.
The empty engine.
Are the heads bolted on or just floating?
They're bolted on. There's a couple bolts
Just
on.
not torqued
Yeah,
or
exactly.
anything. Okay, gotcha. Can't start it, guys.
Well, unfortunately.
Damn! True story, Damon's Integra hit a 94 Integra RS with the B20 block and the B17A head, I believe, or B16 head, the Frankenstein back in the day, with a big turbo kit on it, and he had the external wastegate. So the car wasn't that loud. When the wastegate opened, it was like, rah, and people would be jumping into the bushes. This is like 20 years ago where this was not heard of. It's pretty badass for an Integra. Turbo's on, and then intercooler?
Yep.
What do we do in the intake manifold?
Should we do it now? All right.
Oh.
Moment of truth. The Mad Sweden custom 1-of-1 billet aluminum intake manifold for the twin turbo F12 is going on. Tim, take that wood out of there because it's definitely not gonna feel good.
Not for a camera. Bro, this is actually a big moment.
Let's admire this.
Appreciate this thing. This is all one solid block of aluminum.
It was, and then cut into multiple pieces.
Dude. So this is our fuel rail right here. Injectors go in right here.
Yep.
Into the port for port
Into the
injection.
ports, it's got, you know, O-ring cuts.
Do we have O-rings?
We do, but we're not gonna put them on right now.
No, fair enough, fair enough. It's a test fit.
All right, let's see if it fits.
All right. I'm just nervous and I'm buying time. I'm rambling. Tim, stop it.
Oh, wait.
Did it fit?
Dude, it fits perfect. It's on the dowel.
You're kidding. Oh, this is real sweat.
But dude, Dave, come here. Get a look at that.
Bro, there you have it. Our custom billet intake manifold on a twin turbo Ferrari is now on the car for the first time. In the front, we'll mount the throttle bodies. Then we have some, obviously, the intercooler and some plumbing, but this is like, this is it.
Yeah, and man, that intake manifold looks so good on there. I am really excited. This thing is a work of art. And sitting there with all of that other custom fab stuff that we did, just having this piece in the middle, like, it belongs on the car.
This is insane. Like, just look at that shot right there. And when the hood's open on this car, you can see all this. This won't be covered.
Yeah,
this is
nothing's
all
gonna be
open.
All gonna be open.
And when he does a wiring, will it be like a wire tuck so you won't see it that much?
Yeah, it's gonna be super minimal.
Oh, that's perfect.
So honestly, you'll see some wires like maybe right here.
Yeah.
A couple sensors and stuff like that. But everything else will be routed like away from everything. So kind of underneath here, away from the heat as much as possible. Super simple.
This thing looks terrifying. Like, it looks pissed off, not even running, just sitting there. Let's take a minute and thank the gentleman over at Mad in Sweden for designing this. It's a work of art, it's beautiful. It's also gonna function amazingly to give us the goal of making this car just destroy the block and other places around the world. There will be more updates on what to do with this car when it's done, but we want to bring it to you guys because it's going to be, well, it's one of those things like you don't know what to expect because it's never been done before. So I can't compare it to anything. Just think the level the Unicorn had on people when they saw it in person and heard it drive for the first time. It was emotional because it was a one-of-one completely. And like in the beginning, we called ourselves car builders. We put wrap wheels on cars, and then we want to take it a step further. And it hasn't been easy. Like it's been well over a year.
You said a step further. This is 100 times step.
This is like
this is a million steps further.
This is jumping off a cliff. Jumping off a cliff further.
Yes, this is like as crazy as you can get in a build.
All right, front mount intercooler time.
Yep, bolt that thing in.
Oh boy,
Massive intercooler.
dude! Look how wide that thing is. It's got girth, Tim. You would know. Look at that. All engineered designed to fit perfectly.
Oh,
not like that much.
Two hands, Tim.
Right now the radiator is gonna go in and keep things cool and fresh. Unlike this room right now, which is blazingly hot. We have to turn the fans off from filming because it's way too loud in the background. So I apologize to the boys. It does slow things down, but I really want to give the audience some treats in this video of seeing things really come together. Damn, it's getting real now.
It's getting really real. I'm gonna put that in, put the e-brake in, so we can get all the positions for the gear shift lever sensor. So basically when you pull back on this, there's a sensor that's underneath in the linkage. And that tells you when you're pulling on it, it actually tells the ECU that you're pulling on it, so you can do a flat shift. So basically stay full throttle,
Well, that's cool.
pull the gear.
Are we keeping any of the Ferrari sensors on this car, or is it all gonna be aftermarket?
All gonna be aftermarket.
So what's Ferrari left on this car besides the chassis?
All that's left is the engine, which obviously we've completely rebuilt, but it's a Ferrari engine, and the steering rack,
Okay.
the alternator, and starter.
So should we have bought a wrecked F12 to do this build with? Is that a good one?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
That's cool. There it is, you guys. Fuel cell is in, so we've really done a lot of progress today. It's been a hard day's work.
Yeah, I mean, luckily we did all the fab work before, grinding away on this thing. Everything drops in, but it's just cool to see it all come together. Now we got the firewall in place with the radiator, where before it was just all open, and it looks quite different. I know some of you guys were commenting back when we were doing this stuff, and they were saying like how we should do hood scoops and roof scoops and all these scoops to get air to the radiator. But the thing is, we don't need to do that. These fans will draw an insane amount of air. So we're gonna leave these side, like the quarter windows open. We're just gonna basically make a frame. So I'll make like, you know, a powder coated black aluminum frame that goes around here, and then we'll just do mesh, and it'll all be powder coated black. So from a distance, it'll just look like blacked out windows, but it'll be mesh so air can get in, and we cut out everything back here.
Oh wow, it stays like that.
Yep, so that's all gonna be open. So basically, if the exhaust was going underneath the car, there'd be a lot of heat. But since the exhaust is gonna be coming out of the hood,
Right.
underneath the car isn't gonna be that hot. And so we can get fresh air from the bottom of the car.
And are these
side
fans
windows.
pushing or pulling?
They're pulling. So this window is gonna go.
Got it.
We'll either do like a Lexan window with some cutouts or something like that, so it looks finished on the outside, but it can let the air out of there. But yeah, I mean, that's all we got to do. This fan's flow, I think it's 3,000 CFM or near there per fan. It's wild. Like if you put that fan on the floor and you power it up, it lifts off the ground like a helicopter.
Actually?
Yes.
Why don't we do that for the vlog? Let's destroy it. Yeah, I know that engine, that motor looks heavy duty as well. Look at the wiring. Look at the gauge of that.
Yeah. Yeah, there's some serious fans.
So what's next?
Probably put the handbrake in. We'll throw the steering column in there to get the position for the gauge cluster, basically the dash display. And then I might just throw the seat in there.
It looks cool.
It looks cool, and we're already there, and it takes a minute to put it in. So you get to see what it looks like with the seats in the interior too.
Well, you guys, end of day one, we have the steering column, the brake box, handbrake shifter now in the car. We have the fuel cell, the radiator, that's all in there, and the front end looking amazing with our turbo setup, that beautiful intake manifold, wastegates from that intercooler. And next steps now is wiring.
Wiring, and then just a little bit more plumbing, and then we're done.
So the charge pipe's gonna go from there,
to here, and then these to here.
and those have not been fabricated yet.
These are done.
They're done?
but they're not welded to the intercooler yet.
Are we gonna do that this week?
I think we can, yeah.
And then we have to make the ones from the top to the...
Yeah, these have to actually be made. And then I'm not sure what Mike's plan of how he wants to run the filters on this yet.
Right. Also, I didn't mention this earlier, you guys, because I looked past it, the seats are in. And you can tell now the interior is painted. It actually looks like something, not just a pile of junk. It's happening. I'm gonna sit in here actually. Damon, I'm sorry you're not here right now. Damon would be so pumped if he was here. Oh, it's a lot harder with door bars on it.
You probably should have took the steering wheel.
Oh yeah, I forgot to do that. Why am I so dumb?
Oh.
Why am I so stupid? Bro, what a seating position. I can't touch these pillows, can I? Is there brake fluid in there?
Oh, you can step on it.
clutch needs some adjustment. Wow, what a position. This is surreal. It's built for Damon's height and size. I'm slightly taller than Damon and a bit longer on the torso, so our geometry's a little bit off, but not super forward. It's not like Damon's 5'4". And I'm 6'2". I'll say this, I can see it now.
Yeah.
I can see where this is going once we have the dash with the, is it the AEM or is it the, what display are we getting?
It is going to be a Motec.
Motec display right there. Are we gonna be able to dash it all or does that just stay like that?
No, there's a dash.
Oh, there's a dash.
Carbon.
Really? Did not know that. So picture this. So Damon obviously is upset he sold the KB43 car because he loves the rally style shifter. Well, now you actually have a real sequential. Bam, bam. And you just see the turbos popping over the hood right there. So imagine driving position's about right there. That's at my eyes right now. So you're driving, obviously they'll have the exhaust coming out the back of it. It'll be like, again, that just needs a little bit of adjustment. Wow. This is cool. You guys pumped?
Now can you get out? The car's on fire.
I might just sleep in here tonight, to be honest with you. You know what? Car's on fire. I had a good run. 41 years old. Made some friends. Made some enemies.
Hey, that's a good way to look at life, I guess.
It's just too much work to get out. I'm just too tired. All right, so that's it for today. For you guys, it'll be the next morning. But for us, we're going to bed. Together.
What? No.
What's up, guys? All right, so it's been about 2 seconds for you guys. It's been about 2 weeks for us, and we have made some huge progress on the F12. We haven't filmed every single step because it's been a lot of development, but it's really coming together now, and I want to show you guys all the stuff that we've got done on this thing. Every time I come over to the car and I actually like look at it, I'm not just working on it, I really, really love how everything is coming together, and I'm not gonna lie, we spent a lot of time on this thing, and there is a lot more time to be spent on this car to finish it up, but it is really, really coming together. Every single part on this is basically hand-built, custom, one-off. Now, obviously I've made some mistakes through this build. This is one of the mistakes. I got this thing powder coated and realized that the best way to mount the oil cooler was to make some steel tabs and just weld them right on there. So ground the powder coat down.
Cut twice, right, Mike?
Sometimes I've tried to you know, bypass as much, you know, mess ups as possible, but actually there's a stack of things over here. So these were the original oil cooler brackets. They're really nice, but they didn't work.
It's okay.
Stuff. That's
right.
It. Metal's cheap. Metal is actually cheaper than time. So a bunch of mock-up brackets and stuff where I can cut things off and move stuff around and double plates and, you know, all this stuff that goes through between being a CAD design and printing a little piece of paper out, looking at it, and then actually making it out of metal and putting it on the car. That's why we're using this thin sheet metal, just because, like Tim said, it is cheap in the grand scheme of things. It's pretty cheap, but we've got all these templates left over. This is the mock-up lower control arm, so total hack job. Don't judge me on it. This was just for mocking up the suspension. I'm gonna show you that in a minute.
That was a good Corvette angle kit at one point.
Either way, it served its purpose, and now it's trash. But the angle kit that's on the car, I am really proud of. I kind of wanted to do like an off-road style, because I really like the off-road fabricator guys. They really think outside the box. And I also know that when Damon drives this thing, he's probably gonna try to hit some big jumps with it, because it's Damon, right? He's gonna drive the wheels off this thing. So I hope the wheels will break before the suspension does. All right, let's put it up a little bit, Tim. Let's take a look at this thing. for the F12. We went with a setup where we have adjustability on the lower control arm. So we've got this tubular lower control arm with these, it's all chromoly with these chromoly plates gusseted. We got the shock mount right on here. And then we have this, which is basically a very, very easy, quick way to adjust the caster. So a left-hand thread and a right-hand thread, we just turn this and it moves the wheel back and forward. So super easy on the fly caster adjustment. We also have slots in the upper A-arm mount, which is completely different than factory. We use the factory mounting points, which are way up high, and moved everything around to get it to work properly with this Corvette knuckle that we're running. So we'll probably get rid of the slots once we figure out everything so we don't have anything shift when the car is driving. But for now, for the setup stuff, I want to be able to move everything. So if we get the wheels on here and we get the wheels turning and it hits the headlight or something like that, and we need to shorten the wheelbase by a 1/4 inch to make this all work properly, we can slide the upper back, adjust the lower control arm, get everything moved back slightly, keep the trail in the knuckle, keep the caster, keep everything that we want, but actually just move this whole thing back. And when I build the steering rack mount, I'm gonna make it adjustable as well, so we can move the steering rack back and forth, which is gonna be great for not just if we have to adjust all this, but also for changing the Ackerman and how the wheels turn throughout the sweep. So I thought of every single possible way to make this all work and to make it as adjustable as possible because, well, this is all new. We haven't built anything for an F12 before. Nobody has. So we want to make it as adjustable as possible so we're not building all these different parts and taking tons of stuff out with us to the track, or even if we drive the car out here at the block, quick adjustments, just make it super simple. All right, so I'll give you a little idea of the angle. This is not as much as it's gonna have. It's actually gonna have more, but because of this crazy tie rod angle and where the steering rack is, it's really limiting us. But this is about 20 degrees more than stock right now. That is absolutely insane. This thing is gonna have all of the angle. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to driving this thing. It is going to be wild. All right, more parts. So this is for the brakes. This is the brake master cylinder reservoir. So I actually had ordered a different one before, similar idea, but just quite a bit taller. Now, ideally, I would like to run this one. It does hold more fluid, so you don't have to worry about checking it as often, but because the fittings are coming out of the bottom rather than out of the front, it just takes up quite a bit more space. So let me pop this in the car and kind of show you guys what I'm talking about. Here's why we needed the shorter reservoir. Because it's a hanging pedal mount and it's a Ferrari, so the roof line is low. It's not very tall overall. So where we need to put the pedals to get them to the right height, so it's on the ball of your foot, that made them sit fairly high in the car, and there's not a lot of room between where the windshield is and where these are. So we've got about, I don't know, about 6 inches or so there, and that just made it so we couldn't run the taller one. So we're gonna run this guy, and I'm not sure exactly where I'm gonna mount it yet. We might mount it up here and then have these lines just kind of come down and loop in. So really clean and simple, but I wanna make sure that these aren't in the way of the line of sight, so make sure they're low enough. I think we can fit them there, but if not, we can move it over a bit more into the center of the car, over here somewhere, get them out of the way and just run the lines over there. I also want to figure out where we're going to put the dash display. So we're going to run a Motec dash display, one of the larger ones. It's really easy to see. It looks great. And then when we film with this car and we have an onboard camera in here, you guys will be able to watch and see everything that's going on. You'll see the revs, you'll see the temperatures, you'll see the speeds, all that kind of stuff. So I'm thinking for that, we might end up actually mounting it in the middle because it's going to be big. If we put it over here, because of the size of the steering wheel, and you're looking through, you might not be able to see the whole thing. Some of it might be blocked by the steering wheel. If it was a race car, we'd put a smaller one. It'd be simple, mount it over here. You'd see everything, but because you're sliding around, you're never looking straight ahead anyway. You're looking out the window of one side or the other. So we want a nice big display that's easy to read. It has all the warning lights set up. It's easy just to glance over and see it. And also, I think it's gonna look cool over there, but we have to find a dashboard that's gonna work. So it's not gonna be a standard dashboard. We might even have to have a custom carbon fiber one made, but we'll get to that. I am so pumped on this build. It is, I mean, I feel at home already, and it's not running, it's not done yet, but everything, the layout of this thing just fits perfectly. We got the e-brake right here. We got the shifter. The linkage is actually hooked up now. So the transmission is shifting for the first time. It feels really good. Man, I cannot wait to get this car done. I know this is a huge update. We got so much stuff done in the last few weeks, and it is really coming together. We even had our wiring guy come by, take the final measurements. He's gonna start cutting everything and getting all that built. So it's gonna come together quick. So if you guys are really interested in this build, which I can't see why you wouldn't be, subscribe, hit the like button, tell your friends about it, and stay tuned for the next update because we're gonna have one coming at you soon.